I was drafted in the Army in 1965, October 17. I went to basic training in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, and from there they sent me to AIT, they call it, Advanced Individual Training School. And that was a supply school at Fort Lee, Virginia. Once I finished my schooling, they announced the orders, put us information, announced the orders. Different people were going different places. Some were going to Alaska, some were going to Germany, some to other bases in the United States. But me and a whole bunch of other people were designated to go to Vietnam. So they gave us 30-day leave to go home, say our goodbyes, and then report and go Vietnam. So I did that. I arrived in Quy Nhon on April 11th of 1966 in Saigon. They had a camp there where was the reception station, replacement companies. And we were there, we arrived there at 11 o'clock in the morning. And at 12 midnight, we got attacked, mortar attack. And we were all sleeping on cots, twin cots, one on top of the other, outside in the open, big open field. Of course, it was fancy, and it was all around that little camp there. And there were some tents in there, GP medium tents and GP smalls. And I remember distinctly that there was this guy, little chubby guy, E5, Sergeant E5. And he was in his khakis. And he was supposed to have left that morning, rotated back to the States, but they pulled him off the airplane. There was a sergeant major there that said that he needed a haircut, so he pulled him off. So he went and got his haircut, but he had to wait for the next plane. Well, when we got hit that night, he was sleeping right in the middle of the tent. In other words, you had the tent, the door was like here, there were beds in here and here, and then they had some in the middle aisle. And he was right in the middle aisle, and he got hit by a mortar. And of course, it blew him all to pieces. When the mortar started, everybody started scattering everywhere. I was in one bed on the bottom, and there was another guy on top of me. And all I did was just roll over, and I started crawling because I knew that there was a ditch that was coming from the mess hall with dirty, stinky water. And I got into that one. That's how I escaped the mortar attack. But there was a lot of people killed. Well, there was helicopters flying all over the place, dropping flares. And you could see the skyline, There was shooting here and there, and, helicopters were shooting. Apparently, they had identified where the mortars came from, and they took that place down. Of course, it was in the city, Saigon. So there was a lot of houses all over the place, hoochies they call them. And they set some on fire with the rockets that they shot and ammunition and what have you. Well, next morning, when the sun came up, we went out there. We had to police all the bodies and pieces. And I remember picking up that guy, that sergeant, pick him up and put him in a poncho. That's all we could gather, because there was pieces all over the place. So we piled the meat in there, flesh, and then they put him in an ambulance and took him somewhere. I don't know where, but they took him somewhere.